What's new for Golden Sheaf Whiskey? On today's episode, a glimpse behind the scenes on recent pivots, things on the horizon, and a major partnership announcement.
Blending Bourbon is the podcast that takes you beyond the barrel and behind the scenes of the whiskey industry with master blenders Dixon Dedman and David Mark Young.
Welcome to another episode of Blending Bourbon. My name is David Mark Young, master blender, owner of Golden Sheaf Whiskey Company. I am joined by not Dixon Dedman from 2XO. We are improvising here a bit. This is what we do. Just a little behind the scenes of blending bourbon. Sometimes blending bourbon takes precedence over talking about blending bourbon. So that's exactly what we're doing here today. So Myerden is here. Welcome, hey. Myerden.
Yep. Pleasure to be here as always. I know we had a brief break last week, so that way you and Robert can have your one-on-one there. Dixon's stuck in a boat and all, and
he is stuck on a boat.
He might still be stuck on a boat, but we'll hopefully. I'm pretty sure we'll be seeing him again next week. So
talking about pivoting. Speaking of pivoting, that's something that I was hoping that we could cover a little bit. Dixon a couple weeks ago had. We had some unplanned technical difficulties. Imagine that, the guy with the IT background having technical difficulties. But it was a good opportunity, I think, for Dixon to showcase some of the current and upcoming things on the 2XO map, which went over very well. And we had talked about even, carving out a spot for Golden Sheaf as well. So, that's where we kind of segue into pivoting. Gosh, there's been a lot of pivoting, and looking back on it, I think that'd be interesting to kind of dive down into that. We're doing a lot of things, and I'm just going to open it up, Martin, if that's cool. Let's kind of get right into it. By the way, congratulations to Ben. Ben got married this last week, and that was pretty cool.
Ben got married.
Ben got married. So give Ben and his lovely bride a shout out. So congratulations to them. Some behind the scenes folks that really we're grateful for, that helped bring all this magic together. So, I want to go back to beginning of the year, right at the beginning of the year. So I'm on a trip. I wasn't on a boat like Dixon. Dixon is right now on a boat. Just rubbing it in. But I was actually down in Bardstown, Kentucky. I think it was either the 1st or 2nd of January. And I received a call from our current co-packer, which is local here in Nebraska. And I was informed that there was a command decision to terminate or stop the service for co-packing. And it was a business decision. It was nothing personal. It was actually a great opportunity for those folks. So really happy for them. Unfortunately for us, it put us in a position where we had to pivot. Pivot or survive, right? That's what this whole thing's been about, these conversations, behind the scenes stuff. And so, I want to dive into that a little bit. And since then, fast forward, I'm going to jump around the timeline here, but fast forward a little bit, we're building a tasting room. I was up there this morning. They're putting drains in for the bar and for the production area. And a number of other things, and something I want to really get into, actually a pretty big announcement that's huge for us. But back to the beginning of the year, so we're presented with this decision as to how to proceed with production. We've got a rollout schedule. And so what we did was we ended up expediting our roadmap. Sean, my business partner, we ended up expediting that, and we found a facility. Sean purchased the facility, and we we started building out our own tasting room, complete with bottling, blending capability. Limited in a number of things. We talked about that, but it's a pretty big deal. So, I just kind of wanted to put that into context for folks that are watching and listening, where that came from. It wasn't just out of left field. Oh, now they're building a tasting room. Because a lot of times when you see these brands and, oh, look, there's a brand, they're sourcing, now they're building a distillery, and now they're building a tasting room, and now they're, adding all these different things. And it seems to be organic or planned or, but I guarantee oftentimes it's not. A lot of time it's pivoting, and, you're making a decision to pivot in a particular way to survive. So we needed an operation. We needed to be able to get bourbon out of the barrels, into the bottles, and out into the market. And so we decided to proceed 18 months ahead of schedule with building out a tasting room, bottling operation, blending lab, all those great things, which, again, limited capability. So we were also, I was down in Bardstown at the time. And my first, once I was told that service was going to discontinue, I called Bardstown Bourbon Company, and I think desperately, by the way, it was in the evening, and the person that I called answered the phone and gave me a response. Within an hour, they were spitballing multiple solutions for us, which is great, right? To have that, a company of that caliber in your corner that's willing to help out. And so, but we had to get things going. So long story short, we ended up putting together a plan, an agreement, a contract, and had gone back and forth over a period of months with Bardstown Bourbon Company, and then eventually, fairly recently, we signed that contract, that partnership with Bardstown Bourbon Company, which was a pretty big deal for us and a great honor, might I add, because Bardstown doesn't just take on any bourbon label. I feel like we've had a pretty close tie to Bardstown. Gosh, I feel like they're family. They're really great people, and they really treat their people well. But now I get the messages, welcome to the family, which is, warms my heart, and I know is a big deal. It's a big deal for us because when you look at a lot of the brands that Bardstown Bourbon Company and their innovative forward thinking, they've helped elevate a lot of brands, including, some that have been acquired recently. They just know what they're doing, and they do it very intelligently. So, that's the big announcement is we are now partnered with Bardstown Bourbon Company in a number of facets. And, we've got our first production bottling date, July 31st, which is right around the corner. And so there's a lot of moving parts for that. And, again, going back to the pivot's not just a change direction. There's, it's like playing dominoes. You change your strategy or your roadmap, and there's likely, 50 or 100 additional changes that you have to make, contingencies behind the scenes in order to accommodate, because that's a pretty big shift, right? When you think about it, we were doing operations here. So, shipping barrels, dry goods, all the things down to Bardstown, working with them on all of the approvals for labels and, not to mention just the contract in itself. And then to pile onto that, I feel like we've got this aggressive travel schedule over the next couple weeks, which complements this, all things leading up to July 31st bottling. We're working with a new label company who's also done a fantastic job of helping elevate the exterior of the brand, bring balance to the excellent juice in the bottle and the presentation of the package itself. So we'll be out in Portland here in a couple of days to work with them on those upcoming products that we'll be bottling at the end of July. So we're bottling our core products, bourbon batch number 3, which is now finalized formula wise, and proof, and rye batch 2, which is really exciting.
So the release for July 31st is batch 3.
Batch 3 bourbon.
And then the rye is batch 2 is right around the corner.
It's right there. They're together. Yep, we're doing them. We're doing both of them. Yep.
Okay. So both batch 3 and sorry, I'm taking my notes.
Yeah, it's a lot to keep up with. That's so those are our 2 core products, and the plan originally, beginning this year, was to roll out those do 2 releases of those core products each year. So we were hoping to roll out bourbon batch 3 months ago, but due to this pivot, we had a little bit of a delay, which ended up being a blessing in disguise.
Well, it's interesting because you had already had your eyes set on the venue, but it was fast forwarded by 18 months. And I believe I think there was always, probably because I know how much of a fan you are of Bardstown, there's probably a glimmer of one day I hope to be up in this. So there may have been you will it, there's a way. And then, it's just you got to create as many opportunities as you make opportunities. And I think that's where everything just lined up.
Is that manifestation?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, you being a Marine, it might be the improvise, adapt, and overcome.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. There's definitely a lot of that in there. It's we come up to a hurdle and shoot and move. I mean, you keep going or you don't. You stand still and die. And it's the same in the business world. I say it all the time, and I know people look at me like, nobody's going to die here. We're just making bourbon. but my point being, the company will go under, will suffer from analysis paralysis, or not figuring out an alternate solution. And that's just been the way of this whole business since inception, which all for good reasons, right? Nothing was we can't do that any longer, therefore we have to settle for X. It's always been so I embrace more than ever any type of challenges, any type of adversity. I kind of get excited about it anytime somebody says no anymore, because I know we're going to come out better than before on the other side of it. There might be some delays. There will be, and that's okay. But it's a pivot game. And I mean, so it's led to this. I mean, it is for me personally become a dream come true. We didn't have our eyes necessarily on this particular venue. This venue was available, and we took, just overlaid our vision onto that resource that we had and made it happen. It's really cool to see it now. We just passed some critical inspections today, and which boom, you get past those next surge, and so they're doing build out now, and it's really cool to see it come along, and to know, I think it helps us also lead toward bigger ventures in the future. So inadvertently we're presented with these opportunities, and we take those on because the path that we had chosen was, taken away from us as an option. So we jump into something a little bigger, a little more aggressive, a little riskier, to be honest, and realize what our capability is. So, it gives us that much more experience and know-how, cash flow, all the things, to be able to take on bigger challenges. And so I get it now. And it just, continues to move forward. But yeah, that's the underlying theme is embracing adversity, just like life too. There's things that we can't challenge, and you have to look it in the eye and continue to move forward and find a way, make it happen.
Well, this is an interesting parallel too, because the Golden Sheaf, you kind of resurrected the brand, and this particular venue, for those that are not familiar in the Omaha area, is near Oakview Mall area, 144th. 144th and West Center Road.
Mm-hmm.
And it just so happens to be close to some of Guitar Center, which I need to stop by to pick up some more equipment. But it feels like the parallel here is that area is also being revitalized for the most part, because you have one of wine. It's Wine, Beer, and Spirits right nearby too.
Yeah. Matter of fact, we just did a big event with them last weekend, and it's a stone's throw away. And we had some great conversations with them too. They're big. They're a big store, and they push a lot of booze. They move a lot of booze all across the state, and they're a great partner too. It's we want to support them just like they support us, and we're a business, they're a business. It doesn't mean that we're going to necessarily compete. And we had those conversations. We're not trying to take business away from you. Matter of fact, we're trying to enable you be a good partner. So I'm excited to be that close to them. Folks have asked that, like, is that intimidating? You're going to have competing. No, we're not competing. It's a symbiotic relationship. Yeah. So yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah, it'd be real interesting. You got the Sheaf Mobile parked out front, and it's just like someone coming out of the store would be like looking at their bottle that they just picked up out of Wine, Beer, and Spirits, and see the Sheaf, and it's just like doing that double take. I'm like, oh.
But yeah, that's. So we've expedited all these things. We've expedited this partnership with Bardstown Bourbon Company, which, you're right, is truly uber exciting for me. It's just down there. I'll be going back in next week, and then we'll be bottling before we know it. And just that relationship continues to get stronger and better and larger. And have multiple phone calls with all the different aspects of the operation on a daily basis, and everybody just continues to validate this was the best possible thing that could have happened to us. And you'll notice that in the next release of the products, just some subtle changes, but for the better, some upgrades to the labels. Like I said, CCL, we'll call out to CCL, is our label company. We'll be visiting them out in Portland. And to have all these folks, the bottle company, the closures, bringing them all together to ensure that we're all on the same page, so that this total presentation aligns. And I think that's one thing that's really truly underappreciated in this world. I don't hear anybody talking about labels and having to get the layout of the unroll direction and the way that the labels face, so that they can be put on the spools, so that they can be automatically applied to the and the folks that operate and maintain and assemble, create, build, design pieces for, because when you think about it, every bottle is unique. They've got unique shapes and curves. Here's a bottle of Bardstown right here. It's it's somewhat rectangular compared to a Blue Run bottle. Here it's completely circular, but also got some concave angles to it. And to get those labels on the bottle automatically in an efficient means, in a the best possible way, so that pieces aren't hanging off. And that's a lot of talent. That's a lot of skill, a lot of experience. And then them having to coordinate with the producers of the labels. And then you get the artist, even before that, who's making changes to it. And so yeah, we're going to be hands-on out with CCL out in Portland this weekend. We're going to run multiple papers, multiple, thicknesses, multiple varnishes on the label, so that we can see what it looks like in a matte format. We can see what it looks like in a gloss format, and then kind of split it up so you get that gloss on the foiled piece, and then and then the embossing. We're gonna be able to tinker around with that. It's just incredible how this comes together. Definitely gonna take a lot of video and pictures too to share that content both on here and then on the Golden Sheaf social media platforms as well. It's
like what you're talking about right there with the labels. Like I am right with you 100% on, because being a visual artist, like the cool thing about your design on your label is like you have so many opportunities, because I know each design, each batch, well, not each batch, but each, I know your port finish has a different label. Well, it's a different color of the banner. And each one is uniquely different. So it's really going to be interesting with this new company, with the paperweight and thickness and all that, with the embossed, how that's going to look out, because I know your current labels are more of a rolled on heat infused version, so there's really not a lot of opportunity when it comes to paperweight. It's not really paper for the most part. It is, but yeah, if you have everyone get a bottle of Golden Sheaf, so then you'll know what I'm talking about.
There you go.
So there's
check out the label. Take a pour while you're at it as well.
Yeah. So yeah, no, that's pretty cool. So we got to kind of summarize here. We have two batches coming out of Bardstown at the end of the month, July. The rollout of the new venue is September.
Yeah, mid-September.
September timeframe. Are these new labels going to be on your new batches? Hopefully.
Yeah, so we've got two other products that are rolling out now as we're recording this. And that was the first batch of labels that this new company had done for us. And so they did some upgrades. So it's got embossing. It's got true embossing versus that kind of lacquer finished buildup in some of the embossed areas. It's got true foiling, and it's got, a little thicker stock underneath it. So as those two come out, to me, this is super cool. I see all of those subtle nuances, and from, beginning batch one all the way up to, we just put out our 7th product, and then we'll put out our 8th and 9th here in about 30 days. But when I line them all up, I see every subtle change, every upgrade. It's a cool evolution. Not everybody notices it, but this is the first time that it's all going to come together, and then we'll have even some additional enhancements on there.
Cool. Yeah, no, that's I'm actually I'm kind of nerding out about that, like internally right now. So well, I know there's some stuff that we can get into, but I think we got to wait on particulars on some deals coming up with the Golden Sheaf. So
yeah,
I'm privy to that information because I'm his producer. So I got
a guy. I will give some. So in addition to partnering with Bardstown, we're also going to be rolling out in Kentucky. So we'll have a presence in Kentucky. Right. The Blind Pig is in particular in Bardstown. We'll be carrying our products, and but Bardstown and Kentucky in general is just massive tourism wise, and you get a lot of traffic, international and from all over the country through there. So to be on Bardstown Bourbon Company's shelf, our product is a great honor, but also expands our footprint to all that foot traffic, and then being in some of the having that local presence in Kentucky again will continue to expand the footprint. But we're looking at a couple other states for later on this year, but then we're also in discussions about some international exporting. So there's a market for what we're doing, and we're having those talks now. So hopefully in the near future, maybe in upcoming episodes, we'll be able to dive a little deeper into that as to where and when and how and all those things. So look forward to that.
Great. And I know you're going to be stopping by the studio. I'm going to be coming out on location here pretty soon with you to film some more stuff with you. So I'm looking forward to that. So everyone be on the lookout for those. I don't even know what we were calling those segments yet, but the Bourbon Maverick or something like that.
Yeah, there you go. Those are fun. It's fun to see those pop up. Yeah. You guys did a great job. Awesome. Thank you, Martin. This has been great. Dixon? Oh, he's on a boat. But next week, y'all can look forward to Dixon Deadman in rare form, and we'll be back to normal.
He'll be sun tanned and actually have have
frosty tips.
Natural frosted tips.
Absolutely. Well, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment. We appreciate you. Send us those questions, and we will continue to blend bourbon and talk about it. Martin, cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, everybody.